Yes, people. So today we're going to talk about defending your teammates on the pitch. And I feel that this is something that needs to be spoken about. And I just want you all to make sure that when you're competing that you have that edge about you. And number two is to ensure that you are backing your teammate 110%. The worst players that I've ever played with, and I can tell you right now, are the ones who, whenever I've got caught into any scuffle on the pitch, they're standing around as if, like, what? No, it needs to be all 10 man, depending where it is, the keeper on deck, just to show, like, yeah, I've got you. If you look at basketball, for example, yeah, any scuffle on the pitch in basketball, you got the 4 man that's on the court, then you got the guys on the bench that will come on, plus the security. You got everybody jumping in to break it up, and to also to try and get hands on the other guy. But I see in football that most guys will look to stand to one side and be like, nah, let me just stand here, let me be that guy or whatever. No. And I'll tell you a few stories. I'm gonna give you a couple of stories. Story number one, I remember when I was 17, must be 17 years old, yes, playing for Basingstoke. I was in the academy. I think I was playing against like Farnborough, one of these teams. And I remember we was 1-1, and I tried to dive to get a penalty, and obviously didn't work. And then one of the players came up to me and said to me, "Get up, you stupid dumb nigga." I must have stood up, looked at him 10 toes, looked at him straight in his face and said, "What? Are you mad?" And I was like, "Are you mad?" I said, "You're right." So I grabbed him, and then his teammate came and grabbed me on his other side. So I had 2 men. So I had one hand on his collar, one hand on the other guy. The only guy that backed it was one guy on my team named Dennis. The other geezers on my team stood around watching. And another couple of players on their side came in. And then the referee came in, obviously, and the linesman. But I only had one player. And then there was another teammate that came late after. And I think that was the captain. But the rest were just standing around. When I got into the change rooms and I blasted everybody. I said, you, all of you, man, finish. You guys are finished. And they looked at me like, "Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean?" I said, "Listen, if whether I'm right or wrong, you got to come in and back me as a teammate. You can't stand around like that." I said, "What's this? What's this?" And I said, "When we go down and play Luton, yeah, they're going to have a couple of men down there. Watch what's going to happen. If any scuffle happens, I'm going to stand right by the side like I'm Stephen A. Smith on the sideline. I ain't jumping in." And so happened, so it did. And so, I don't, and even a couple of games I've gone to watch and I've seen it happen, and I'm not seeing players going back in their teammates. And this is a side of the game where it's passion. This is about passion. Yeah, it's not, and you gotta back your teammates. I'm not one for violence, but listen, you gotta stand to let the other team know that, listen, you touch one of us, you touch all of us. One band, one sound, as they say. And I remember another story. This was recent one actually. This one I'm done playing football. I was at Power League. One of my friends he's playing now. He said, "Yo, Prince, we got a tournament. You wanna come down and play?" I said, yeah, cool. And so we went down, played. We was playing against this team, rough team. They were probably favourites to win if they beat us, and we were probably favourites to win we did end up winning. We were the 2 best teams. We got drawn in like the quarterfinals. Everybody in Power League. Other games were played. People stopped playing their games to come over in the middle, pitch 5 in the middle. I think it was at Wembley, if I'm not mistaken. And everybody came around. Their team had about 20-30 man. I'm not even lying to you. Yeah, 20 man at least outside. Yeah, just raving them up, and they were good. 7 pro players, very good. And we ended up putting in a shift and slapping them up 4-1. One of my guys on my team said a comment to one of them, and he said, "What? Are you right? And he must have grabbed him Then I said, what? So I grabbed him back. So then I said, hey, look, relax. I said, hey, let go of him. And then obviously the guy on my team, he's a hot wire as well. Then they've got 2 free players and their team came over. So it's just me and him and his younger brother. So it's 3 of us versus like 4 of them. We had 3 other players on the pitch, okay, including the keeper, that stood basically near our goal and didn't get involved. And then it gets worse. The latchet of the door swings open and 10 of them had come running in, grabs my teammate in the headlock. So here now I'm having to move 2 guys, trying to restrain them from getting up one of my player, plus his younger brother was trying, and it was just crazy. And then the organizers had to come, and then they were trying to wait for us, and I just stood next to him, and the guys, my teammates, they didn't get involved. They just stood there. And I was just like, you know, that's the side of the game that people don't understand. When you go play pro football and you do that and you stand to one side, teammates won't ride for you. Because I remember Patrice Evra just came up with a story, and he was talking about how how one of his teammates was crying in the change room, in the plane over a movie, and he sat down, told Carlos Tevez and said, hey, you know, so was crying. And Tevez came out, and Tevez didn't say nothing when they went, you know, off the plane, team meeting. He said, listen, he said, manager, how could we go to war and you've got so-and-so crying in the toilet over a silly movie? You know, so, and he wasn't meant to say anything, and I found that so funny. But it's like, that's the mindset that we have, that we're going to war. Football is war. So if you've got teammates that are not like that, you need to address it in the change room beforehand, especially if it's a derby. You know, I played in many derbies in Australia. There was a derby in Spain, and all the time when it got violent, and I was the first to run over. Whether I was on the left wing and it happened on the right side, I'm running over. And so this is a side of the game that aggression needs to be added. It's not you going to get booked and start fighting, it's you standing up for your teammates. Keishan Prince.